Welcome back. This is number 7 in the series of videos where we set up a VAMDC data node. We went through the different parts in the last ones where you need to customize the node information for your own needs. Now we want to run the node. We have seen in one of the earliest tutorials that you can run manage.py run server to get the node running and testing. This is perfectly fine for testing and very helpful, but if you want to finally deploy your node and keep it running on a server for a long time, you don't want to use the built-in run server, but you want to have a proper web server run it. And in this example, we're going to use Unicorn and Nginx. So we just install those two with apt-get. And so Unicorn is a software that can run Django applications natively, and we're going to run it here by telling it to listen to a socket, which will be used by Nginx to act as a proxy. And here you see the running processes. And now we tell Nginx to use this socket by using the example nodes Nginx configuration, which is there. So you have examples there. We can also look at other nodes which are in the repository, how they deploy. And so we copy this file to an example. So let's have a short look how this looks. So here in the top, we tell it where the socket that we just set up with Unicorn is, and we tell it to listen on the location your node/tap. So this will be in the URL. You can of course modify this. We set some headers which you don't need to care about much, but we then pass all requests to the app server here. That is basically the Unicorn running here. And also important, we tell Nginx to, if the client supports it, to use the compressed transfer of data. So XML compresses quite well, so this makes very much sense to activate this. Okay, no direct need to edit this file here, but of course you in your setup will probably edit it and adapt it to your needs. Then we restart Nginx, and then we can use Lynx, which is a terminal web browser, to look at localhost/yournode/tap and just access the availability endpoint. This was a bit too quick. And the availability endpoint, well, was too quick to see, but it simply shows an XML page which says the node's up and running. And we can use curl, which is a command line HTTP client, and tell it to access this URL, which is the TapSync interface where the queries are run. So we run the query to our new node, select species, and we tell it to print out the HTTP headers and save the output in data XML and use compression. So HTTP headers that you see here are just some version info, and that's fine. We see that the content was compressed, and we see that the HTTP headers that we added in the query function, VAMDC count species and VAMDC count radiative, those are 0 here because our database is empty, but the values are actually returned. So this our query function was executed, and it came to the conclusion, well, we have selected 0 transitions with 0 species, but the principle works here. And then let's have a look at the XML, actually, the data output in exams format. Of course, it's empty, but it has some header and one entry with that references when the query was run. And this is basically it. Now you have a node running and deployed. So there is not much more to it.